Bum, 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 bum. Sometime we're gonna go live. It's a little clunky. You never really know, but I think it's telling us we're live, Eric.
I think we're live. It's
I
showing
think
on my end we're live.
That's right. Well, that's as good as it gets, really. How's Texas this morning?
It's good. It's a little bit sunny, it's a little bit cloudy. It's been really nice lately, like in the 70s, but it's about to get like in the 30s, like a cold snap. So
Yeah. I went for a 5 mile run this morning in 30-degree weather. Just got in, and
oh wow.
I
Okay.
went for another one last night at like 6:30 p.m. Yeah, same route. It was
Wow.
awesome. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm really adapting to 75 hard and the cold. Like, I love the cold weather, but like something shifted in me, and the last two runs, I was like, wow, it's beautiful out, but it was like freezing.
Cold. All right.
Like
Yep.
it legitimately felt like comfortable instead of like, ah, it's freaking cold out. I mean,
Right.
so yeah, I love it. I love it. So you're gonna have a cold snap in Texas?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And are you in Houston? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in Houston, kind of right outside the city, and it's like suburban area.
Yeah. I don't even
Yep.
know if I've ever been to Houston.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I
I
don't think I've
never
had a
had.
reason to. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I look, man, my choppiness is really funny. I feel like I look a little bit like I'm an AI Tellman, or like
I was thinking that too. I
like,
was thinking
am
like,
I,
man, I hope
is it
my
like,
audience doesn't think I'm like I have some AI bot that I'm like live streaming with. I
I know
swear to God, this is Telman
it
Knudsen.
is.
He was my brother's roommate in college, housemate in college years and years ago. He's
It's
not an
true. I'm
AI bot.
not,
I swear.
I swear that I'm not the Telmandroid. I am
Yeah,
not the
Telman
Telmandroid.
Android. Exactly.
I'm real, live in the flesh. I had to run clean my Mac this morning on this computer, and it's an older computer, and it's completely full, and I need to get a new computer. So anyway, point being, I think that's what's going on. But today it's time to get shit done, and we're going to be talking today a little bit about a get shit done check-in, how to do a daily check-in. We're going to check in right now about what's happened in the last 24 hours in our own lives. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about the power of accountability in the get shit done framework and the get shit done process, so that you can hopefully start using it in order to become more successful, more productive in your own lives. And so what I want to do is to do the check-in, I want to start with positive focus, right? And so I'd love to know from you, Eric, and I'll go first. Actually, I'll volunteer myself to go first. And then for our viewers, what's your positive focus, right? I learned positive focus from Dan Sullivan and Strategic Coach a bunch of years back, and it really has stuck with me as a very, very good way of kicking meetings off, beginning some group time together, doing something like this or a meeting, whatever it is, to kind of get everybody in a good mood and get things off of the right foot in a really genuine and meaningful way. Right. And so what are you happiest or most excited about in your life right now? And it could be as simple as my freshly brewed mug of bulletproof coffee. As a matter of fact, I have two freshly brewed mugs of bulletproof coffee, but I make a full Chemex of bulletproof every morning. But I did something really dumb this morning. I woke up at 4:30 and couldn't go back to sleep. So it was an early morning for me. I got a bunch of cleaning done, which was my place was desperately needed some cleaning. So I got on it and got some cleaning done. And I was making up my coffee to have a mug full of it before I went for my run this morning. And I brewed it all up. I made the whole thing. I added the butter and the MCT oil, and I put it in the blender after the whole thing. And like, I'm drinking this, I'm like, man, this is a brutal batch this morning. Like, this is rough. Like, it was really strong. I was like, maybe, and this was coffee that I had ground that my sister had sent me. And so I thought maybe it was the bottom of the bag, and it was kind of more finely ground than, because I ground it in my own grinder, and it was a little bit on the espresso-y side. I was like, oh, maybe the coffee was just too fine or something. And so I tubed the rest of this cup of coffee, and I'm like, oh man, I had to drink some extra water to kind of like balance it out. And then on my way out the door for my run, I look and I realized that I forgot to put the butter in the blender. And so I just blended black coffee with MCT oil, which is basically super refined, odorless, tasteless, completely clear coconut oil that's hyper
Okay.
absorbable. It's like super, super clean, neutral, right? And needless to say, it wasn't creamy. And so after I got back from my run, I put the butter in and reheated and reblended my coffee. So I actually am pretty happy about this bulletproof coffee this morning that I'm about to drink. Oop, and I just spilled all over myself by shaking it. That was a pro move. Pro right there.
Right.
I'm just gonna leave. I could say other stuff, but I actually love bulletproof coffee, and it's one of my main sources of calories. And
Really?
so
Okay.
I'm happy about it this morning. That's what are you happiest or most excited about this morning, Eric?
I feel happiest and most excited about getting back on track with my fitness goals, and not just kind of like I've been just sort of dabbling with it for a long time and
Yeah.
not fully engaged with it. And now I'm actually crushing my fitness goals, which feels great. Yeah, I'm stoked about that. And like notice immediately how differently my body feels just after even just a day of actually hitting my goal, like my target goal, instead of just a low level.
What are your fitness goals?
Okay, so I have a yoga swing. It's basically something that you can hang upside down from with your legs and like be totally
You over
invert.
there doing hippie exercises?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the ultimate home gym.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just
But
messing with you.
yeah, so
I'm
I'll
just
hang
messing with you.
upside
No,
down
it's
for my
good. It's good.
legs. Yeah.
It's
So I'll
good.
hang
Yeah.
upside down for my legs and then do these inverted sit-ups. So it's like upside down crunches.
Super
And
core. Yeah.
yep, I'll do 40 of those in a set.
Nice.
And I'll do my target is to do 5 sets a day. And I did that yesterday and it was awesome. And then also it has handles so you can do pull-ups. So I'll do sets of 10 pull-ups and also do 5 of those a day. So 50 pull-ups. I did what 200 sit-ups yesterday, 50 pull-ups, and then I do sets of 25 push-ups, and I did 5 of those also. I did a little bit extra, so I got 135 push-ups.
And what's your either end goal if you have one, and if you
Yep.
don't have an end goal, what's your reason that you're doing this?
Right. Good question. So, well, I mean, I don't really have an end goal. It's an open-ended goal of just being in the best shape ever as
Right.
I'm a, I'm turning, so my target right now is I'm turning 47 in February.
Yeah, I'm turning
And
48 in January. I mean, in January 18th. So yeah,
all
we're
right.
real. So we're just about 1 year apart, right?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yep. And I've gotten really out of shape, like the most out of shape I've ever been, like ever, the past 6 or 8 months.
Yeah,
And
midlife is sweet, right?
yeah, I really let myself go, which
It's
is
easy.
like,
It's easy to do. Yeah.
yeah. And I was in extreme good shape for the past bunch of years. And yeah, just got to be unacceptable. So my target is to get back into extreme good shape by my birthday in February.
Sweet. Well,
Yeah,
dude, obviously I'm doing this, but like, have you considered doing 75 hard?
I haven't
I
really
just
looked
reset. I
into it
just
much.
started
Okay.
over on the first, and
Okay.
there are a couple other people that I made a post about it recently, and it was like largely a crickets post. Like I made a post and like nobody responded. I was like, I'm doing 75 hard. Anybody? And then there were 2 or 3 people that ended up chiming in like the day after the first.
Yep.
And so I don't have like full on commitments from anyone. I have
Okay.
one guy in my 75 hard group that I've been working with because I would be done now, but I reset on day 72 because I drank
I
some
know.
alcohol. Are you serious?
We lost you again.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is really interesting. Really interesting. All right, Eric, why don't you talk about well, so we can talk more about 75 hard in a minute, but you know what? Why don't you do your check-in? What did you get done yesterday?
Okay,
And
yeah, I'll talk about that. Oh, we lost Tellman. Yeah, he's having issues with his computer is like full up of memory storage, or his memory is tapped out or something, so he's has to log back in. So I'm going to talk about my this is my daily check-in from yesterday, what I accomplished, the goals I set, and how I did. So yeah, I just was talking about my fitness goals and I totally crushed it. I've been sort of like at a low level of something I learned from Tellman the other day on a call we had that really stuck with me is he said that your minimum target is your maximum limit. And what that means is really like, if you have a range of goals of like, well, at the bare minimum, I want to do, 10 pull-ups a day, maybe one set of sit-ups, one set of push-ups, one set of pull-ups. And it would be great. I'd love it if I was doing that 5 times a day. But at the bare minimum, I'll do 1 time a day. And, if I can hit 3 a day, that'd be cool too. If that's your goal, you're only going to hit the minimum of that goal. And that's been my experience. I've had that sort of range of goals, like, yeah, doing the 5 sets a day, that's what gets me into extreme good shape. But having that lower limit goal of the bare minimum of just doing it 1 time a day. And that's what I've been doing. And I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. I was like, the actual goal is to do 5 sets a day, 40 upside down sit-ups, 25 push-ups, and 10 pull-ups 5 times a day. Not once, not 3 times. Once, like 1 time a day, it gets me into like, it keeps me from getting fat. 3 a day, it gets me into sort of okay shape. 5 a day, in a month from now, I'll be shredded. And that's my goal, and feeling great and fully, energized and vibrant and crushing all my other goals. And yeah, so I crushed that yesterday. And one of the tools that I'm working with is I have this accountability sheet that I use, which is it's really simple. I just made it on Google spreadsheets or whatever that software is, and it shows, it has the date, and then it has sit-ups, push-ups, and pull-ups, and it's like a tally system. I'll make a line for each set that I do of each of those exercises, and the goal is to make a tally. You get 5 of them, you get to cross the tally out, and I hit that yesterday. And the cool thing I like about this check sheet is not only does it show me where I'm crushing my goals, but if I miss a day, it shows me a blank spot where I'm totally slacking. And it's like a really good tool to help me be self-accountable on my own.
Dude, that's awesome. First, and thanks for holding down the fort while I was out dealing with the tech demons.
Yep.
So that's really cool. Do you have a way of like, how hard would it be for you to take what you created and turn it into a Google sheet?
Right. I think it is a Google sheet. I forget. I was just trying to remember what software I used. It was like Google Sheets or something like that. And then I just
let's take a look at that, because
out.
we might be able to convert something like that into like a GSD workout checklist or something like that. It's very simple, but like
really simple.
People might hesitate on actually building it, right, and doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is really important. What I wanted to mention around this idea and the check-in is the importance of accountability, especially if you need it. Okay. And so here's the funny part, is that there are some people who don't seem to need outside accountability in order to get their shit done. I know some of them. They're extraordinary individuals. And there are some things where I don't need outside accountability to get my shit done, right? But there are some things that I do, and it's like embarrassing to admit it for me. Okay. It's like, I should be better than this. I know that I can do this. I'm mentally capable. I'm emotionally capable. I've done it before. I can do it again. Yet I procrastinate. I don't do it. Call it self-sabotage. Call it a block. Call it whatever you want. You're either getting it done or you're not getting it done. And so there's lack of commitment around certain types of tasks or certain types of goals. You know, I say I want to do something, but I might not like go after it as full force as I might like. And what I've discovered is that having a accountability buddy, an accountability partner is great, and having an accountability group is amazing. And
Absolutely.
so the Get Shit Done community is designed to be an accountability group. But it really does start with an accountability partner if you're trying to increase your productivity and you feel stuck in a rut. So if that's you, if you're stuck in a rut, you're not getting the shit done that you know you could and should get done, getting an accountability partner is great. And that's one of the reasons that we really encourage all of our new members in the Get Shit Done community to invite in one or more of their most motivated, of their most driven, of their most supportive entrepreneurial friends, business colleagues, co-workers, employees, sometimes family members, so that you have somebody in there with you who's going through this learning process and the inevitably like hard and uncomfortable part of getting in shape. Okay, because just like getting your body in shape, getting your mind in shape, getting your business muscles in shape, taking the action that actually gets you the result is different than what you're doing right now. And what that means is it's uncomfortable and it is not always pleasant, especially when you're working hard and it sucks. Because there's a lot of that in the beginning. There's a lot of working hard. And it's like with sales and marketing, 80, 90, 95%. No. Rejection after rejection after rejection. Most people aren't going to buy your stuff. Most people aren't going to opt into your list. Most people aren't going to read your emails if they do opt into your list. Most people, if they do buy your stuff, you're going to be lucky if they go through your stuff. Most people aren't going to ascend to your high ticket program. Most people aren't going to buy your continuity program. Like, sorry, most people aren't going to do those things. And like, you need to build up some literal, maybe it's not literal, figurative, tough skin. Like you need to build up like psychological and emotional calluses so it doesn't hurt so bad when you're rejected. And so it's okay. And you can accept it and be cool with it and keep moving forward, regardless of whether anybody buys anything from you today, or whether things go the way you had planned, or whether that promotion worked or not. You're going to get back in the game tomorrow morning anyway. You already know it, right? So accountability is really good. I've definitely found for live streaming and creating consistent video content that I do a way more consistent job if I have a co-host. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I love having co-hosts, and I show up more consistently, show up more on time, show up more ready to go, show up more enthusiastically, all these things. And so if creating live stream content is part of your marketing and business strategy, consider starting a show with a co-host, because it's a really good way to go. Speaking of which, we do have some comments in from Jeff over at Silk City. And I just want to say on this note, actually, so this is cool, is that if you are a member of the Get Shit Done community and you want to try out to be a co-host of the Get Shit Done show, if you apply and are accepted, and we're working on the acceptance process as we speak, if you apply and are accepted, then you'd be a co-host for 1 day a week of with me of the Get Shit Done show. And so I'm looking for enthusiastic entrepreneurs who have some experience on camera, who aren't going to be like shy and weird about getting on camera, who want to get better, who have something to say, who like to talk, who like to listen, who like to have conversations, who like to interact, and who want to get better at doing this kind of stuff and get some attention for your own business and your own stuff in the process. So if that sounds like you, and you're already part of it, you like what we're doing over here at Get Shit Done, and ideally you're part of the community, then reach out in the comments, and then reach out on direct message on whatever platform you're watching this on, whether it's with me or with Eric or whatever. Just reach out, say yo, let us know you're interested, and we'll tell you what the next steps are. So Jeff Levine, aka Silk City Hot Sauce, says, "Good morning, fellas. Thank you for sharing your time this morning. I'm psyched to start guitar lessons with my kid. I need the refresher, and I can't wait for her to learn so we can jam." And Get Shit Done update. I love this. Guys, give us your Get Shit Done daily update. Give us your check-ins. I reached out to Benito's yesterday. Benito's is a hot sauce out of Burlington, and I had a short-lived talk show with Josh Burns called "I Love Hot Peppers" that we were doing a while, and I met Benito, and we tried his hot sauce on our talk show. That didn't end up taking off because I was launching it just before I discovered that I was no longer going to be married, and so it was a sideline project that we dropped. But I met Benito because we tried his hot sauce for our talk show, interestingly enough. Anyway, and he says, "I reached out to Benito's yesterday and had a great getting shit done powwow for an hour. I told him we're going to do the same thing 2 to 3 times a week. It was productive and inspiring. Rock and roll, Jeff." Well, dude, you should join the Get Shit Done community, because like, bring it in there. Like, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you're interested. Otherwise, just do it on your own. I'm really, really happy to hear that you're taking action and getting shit done. So having an accountability partner is great. Having an accountability team or a group, like if a team is really like when your business gets big and you start employing team members, and you either have an office or you meet virtually, like that's your team, right? And so what do you do before you have a full company? Well, you can still build a team who works together to get shit done, even if you're working on your own independent projects and they're not directly related to each other, right? So accountability is a huge, huge piece. But the second piece is one that I learned how to think about it in business when I was in Joe Polish's Genius Network for many years. And one of the things that Joe said over and over again that stuck with me, which is that which is tracked improves, and that which is tracked and reported on improves exponentially. And so what this means is, I really liked your spreadsheet that you just pulled out, Eric. Because one of the things that I've always, not always, but that when I started doing it, I started making a lot more money, is I had a KPI sheet for my business. And
Right.
KPIs are key performance indicators. Key performance indicators. I think that the first place I learned about key performance indicators was the Rockefeller Habits, book called The Rockefeller Habits. But basically it's like the key numbers that you need to keep track of to know like how your business is doing. Like, what's your heart rate? What's your blood pressure? You know what I mean? Like, what are your vitals? And different businesses have different vitals, but like money in, money out is an important one, right? Like at the end of the day, like, what did you do in sales? What did you do in expenses? What did you make in profit? Like that, those are pretty important numbers. And then there can be numbers that are directly influential to those numbers, right? And so ideally, KPIs are numbers that you have direct control over. So rather than measuring, like if you're losing weight, rather than just measuring your weight, you would focus on how many minutes did you exercise, how many calories did you consume, right? And then what did you weigh in at for the day? And then you're looking, and that's like the final, but you still need to, like, how many minutes a day did you exercise and how many calories did you consume are examples, they're simple examples of ways of looking at your numbers. If you consume, exercise a little bit more, consume a little bit fewer calories, chances are good you're going to lose weight over time, right? And so these numbers apply to weight loss, they apply to fitness, they apply to getting good at anything, right? Anything. They apply to if you're doing high ticket sales, how many leads did you generate? How many calls did you do? How much, how many sales did you make, or how many dollars were collected, right? How much traffic did you drive? How many opt-ins did you get? How many sales did you get? How much money did you spend to get them, and how much money came out the other side? So there's some basic numbers that you can keep track of. But keeping track of them and then reporting on them every day in a group or public or semi-public setting, it keeps you accountable and it keeps you honest. And it keeps you focused emotionally and mentally on improving those numbers and not looking like a jackass. Okay. So, like, it's not good enough to track your numbers, but never change.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not good enough to track your numbers and report on them, but not do anything to get better. The whole point is get better. Okay. Get better and become stronger, become more skilled, become more effective, become more efficient, become smarter. Right. And so, doing a daily check-in can having like 1 or 2 KPIs as a solopreneur is great. If you're a direct response marketer and you're building an email list, like, great. How many people did you put on your list today? How many people did you add to the list? How much money did you generate? Are you, is measuring clicks for a daily broadcast a major part of your business or not? Things like this. But like looking at a few of your basic numbers and focusing on improving them will make them better. And so numbers are important, but as you're building a new business, getting the building blocks done, getting the shit done is also very important. So this is your daily shit list, right? And so when you do your get shit done check-in, we're doing a long-winded check-in right now. When you do a get shit done check-in, you want to report on your KPI or your KPIs if you have them. And then you want to say, what'd you get done yesterday? Right? And so let's see. I don't know. I don't know. This is me not looking at my own KPI. So I'll admit that I'm dropping the ball on this today. I don't know how many members we added to our Get Shit Done community yesterday. I didn't look. I think we're up to 109. And right now everybody that's purchased is in the trial phase. And so I do know that. And the other thing that I know is that yesterday I did the Get Shit Done show with you, Eric, in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did 3 full-length hypnosis sessions with private clients yesterday.
Great.
Which, they're scheduled for an hour, but they usually ultimately are like an hour and a half. So that's like
Mm-hmm.
4.5 hours of like intense one-on-one time with people. And then you and I did a broadcast for over an hour too. So
Mm-hmm.
almost 6 hours of me staring into a camera, like creating content. Right. I
Right.
mean, you could say it that way, and or being a therapist,
Mm-hmm.
hypnotherapist, I should say. So
Mm-hmm.
with that in mind, and yesterday I was on day 2 of 75 hard. I restarted on the 1st of the year, and so I did a 45-minute yoga workout. I did a 50-minute run. I, drank my gallon of water, did my 10 pages of reading, took my selfie, but I'm doing those things every day. So those don't really count on the GSD list, because that's kind of a separate thing that I've already committed to. Right. So what I didn't get done that was on my list yesterday, there are 2 things that I totally didn't get done. Is I didn't get an email out to my list yesterday that was on my shit list. And I also didn't get any work done on the new sales letter for my funnel. So those 2 things are absolutely carried over to today as two things that I need to do. And I have 2 hypnosis sessions today. So yeah, that's that's what I've got going on today. So that's my check-in. I know you already did kind of a longer check-in, but like short version, Eric, is if you have a KPI, let me know. And if you don't, we need to find you one. And
Right.
then
Okay.
what did you just bang out? What did you get done yesterday?
Yeah. So I crushed my workout goals. I also crushed my business goals, which is like I create a lot of content for my business. Building my brand and everything. So I we did the live stream yesterday morning, and then I made a written post. I made a reel, like short form video out of a segment from our live stream, which I posted in my stories, and then also as a reel. And then I posted some other stories with a call to action for my business.
Awesome. Rock
Yep.
and roll. Cool. So to all of our Get Shit Done show viewers, what did you get done yesterday? These are like to-do list items. Okay, it's really important that you don't say like I worked on blank, because that's bullshit. Okay, if you wrote the headline, the subhead, and the outline for a 10-minute video sales letter script for your new sales letter, cool. That's specific and clear. But like I worked on blah blah blah, no, that's BS.
Right.
Uh think about it, like I stacked 1 cord of the 4 cords of wood that I need to stack. That's what I did yesterday. Okay, like make it measurable and clear and specific, both when you're reporting on what you did and when you're making your shit list, when you're making your list of what you're going to do. It's important, critical, that you get super clear so that anybody can understand and see and observe whether or not you got the thing done. Okay,
Right.
otherwise it's a time waster. Okay, like it really is. As far as your productivity time, you want to do things that are going to move the needle, that are going to make a difference, right? And that's not, you know what? And that could be creative brainstorming, thinking time. If you have a problem you need to solve, like, which I love, by the way, I spend a lot of my time in that zone. What I was about to say was that, like, if it's creative brainstorming thinking time, it doesn't count as getting shit done, which is actually bullshit. It does count, but it's really important that you realize that thinking and coming up with ideas isn't accomplishing anything. It's getting clear on something that you could create if you got your ass to work, right? And the best things are clearly thought through, right? And not just off the cuff, whatever. I tend to be pretty off the cuff with, like as I said, I like to build the plane while I'm flying it, right? But it's not that there's no place for forethought, but it's that forethought and planning and thinking things through are one of the easiest ways for you to justify inactivity in the direction of your goals. So if you're planning on starting a business in the spring, then your number one job is to get someone to pay you today. It's not to set up a corporation. It's not to make a business plan. It's not to create a bunch of marketing. It's not to build a pretty website. It's not to look good. It's not to create your logo or to hire a PR agency, or it's not any of those things. It's for you to sell something, because that's the only way you have a business anyway. All the other stuff comes after the fact. So don't let the planning process prevent you from making money, because making money is the hard part. You can plan stuff in your sleep, whatever. But like sell something, and then you have something to talk about. So take action. Do the thing that you're resisting. Do the thing that makes you uncomfortable and nervous today. That's the idea, is do the hard thing first, right? So all right, Eric. So that's what we got done yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. So one other thing that was on my list that I got done at the very end of the day, like
Great.
right before I went to bed, is I didn't put anything in it yet other than the description and came up with a name for it, but the lead group for my business, where I'm going to start nurturing my leads. So I have the container built, and I'm going to start building that out here moving forward.
Is it a secret?
It is.
All right. All right. Well, maybe tell me about it offline later. All right. I'm
I
looking
will.
forward to hearing about it. That's cool. That's cool. Rock and roll. So now let's talk about the shit that we're going to get done today. And so there's an interesting conundrum here, right? Because if you have a completely open schedule, then you have a lot of items that you need to get done that are unaccounted for. When I look at my schedule right now, and so I've learned over time that I love having a full schedule. If my schedule is full, I'm talking to lots of people, I'm doing lots of cool stuff, and I'm making lots of money, or I'm making lots of connections. If my schedule is wide open and empty, I have a whole bunch of free time to accomplish absolutely nothing. And so I love it when my schedule is full. And we talk about accountability and work parties. And so one of the ways that I do a work party is, I'm right now, we're doing this. At 11 o'clock in 1 hour, I have a meeting with my buddy Eddie Miranda, who we interviewed a couple of times for the Tellman and Fellman show. He lives in Miami. He's a smart marketer. He knows a lot about school, and we've just been getting to know each other a little bit over the last few months. And so we're going to have a little catch up. He might get involved with Get Shit Done in some way. We're not quite sure. Then at noon, I have a private hypnosis client on Zoom. At 1 o'clock, I did have a work party with my business partner Jonathan Mizell. We've been working on a relaunch together, but he canceled that because he's traveling today. So that I actually have an hour and a half free to get some shit done, which I'm pretty stoked about. Then at 2:30, I got to go pick up my kids. And then at 4 o'clock, I have another private hypnosis session. And so a lot of the shit that I need to get done today is scheduled. And that is ideal. Okay. The more of the stuff that you need to get done that's blocked aside, the higher the chances are that you're going to get it done. Okay. And I keep track of all that stuff on my Google Calendar. And I highly recommend you do too. Right. In addition to those things, I'm going to do all that stuff, and I'm going to send an email out to my list. And though I want to work on the sales letter for the new funnel, it's not going to happen today. I don't have time. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't have a open-ended work party scheduled today, but I do have an hour and a half to myself where I can catch up on some loose ends. So that's what I'm getting done today: is 2 hypnosis sessions, email to my list, some more activity in the Get Shit Done community. That was one of the other things, is I uploaded the Get Shit Done system to the Get Shit Done community and gave that to everybody in there yesterday. And so that's pretty sweet. I encourage you guys to go ahead and do your check-in down in the comments below. And then I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to create a thread, or maybe even a whole discussion group for it in the community itself. That should be pretty cool. So Eric, are there other questions related to anything that we've covered today, or anything else that you wanted to talk about? Before we went live, you mentioned burnout a little bit. And so where do you want to take this?
Right. Yeah. I was just curious, in your own experience of getting shit done and operating at a high level of productivity where you're really pushing yourself, how do you avoid burnout? Because that's something I've run into in the past, where I've been operating at a really high level of productivity, crushing my goals, but then it's like, if you push too hard, it can be harmful, and you can fall off the horse.
Yeah, well, so that is true. And it's also okay. So my honest answer is that I don't avoid burnout.
Okay.
Sometimes I burn out.
Yep. I do too.
Okay. So
it is okay.
So for me, this might seem ironic, but I've gotten better at avoiding burnout since Jody and I split up, and I have half my time with my kids solo. There's a lot of my day where I need to be present with them and not working and not focused on like myself and my own little world, where I have to
Mm-hmm.
put effort and attention on being present with them and supportive of them to the best of my ability, which I really struggle with sometimes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so that helps. Another thing that helps is, well, half the nights, the way my schedule works is half the nights the kids are with me, and half the nights if the kids aren't with me, I usually go and spend those with my girlfriend. And so usually at about 5 or 6, I need to be done for the day and have my computer closed. And it's
Okay.
now it's time to make dinner, eat dinner, clean up from dinner, and go to bed. you know,
Right.
because I'm up at 5:30 a.m. to work out the next day. And so having for me, one of the ways to avoid burnout is to have a packed schedule,
Mm-hmm.
which basically means a routine,
Right.
right? To have a more consistent wake up time, to have a more consistent go to bed time, because I have a more consistent wake up time,
Mm-hmm.
right? That, like, if you want to have more consistency, number one is set your alarm. Get your ass out of bed like half an hour earlier than you want to.
Exactly.
Like, step one every day,
Yep.
right? And again, having like an accountability partner if you need to is like, do it, and I'm definitely less of a sleeper than most. Like, I've always been a light sleeper. I wake up easy, I wake up fast. I'm blessed that way. But like, so I know that getting up can be harder for some people, and I also know that some people really feel that they're night owls. um and maybe that's true. I found that so far, everybody that I know that's a night owl, or that considered themselves a night owl, if they got on a regular exercise routine and started getting up early in the morning, within 6 months, they're no longer a night owl, and they're like the most productive they've been in their entire life and feel great. So
Yeah, I'm kind of going through that process right now. I've always been a night owl, and I'm transitioning over to, waking up at 6 in the morning and just getting right to it and getting to bed at like, well before midnight. Now I'm getting to bed at like 10, which is
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah. Well, think about it like you're not a night owl, but you learned how to be.
Right.
So learn some more skills. Give yourself some
Exactly.
more options. It's not like you're never going to be able to sleep in again for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
like having more options is great.
Yeah.
Um, cool, cool. So yeah, so for me, having things that are scheduled in my life that have to take higher priority than obsessing on my business projects, or which is usually these days what I obsess about, right? Like,
Hmm.
sometimes I get obsessed about other things, but usually my business projects take it. And then often many of the other things in my life fall by the wayside and get neglected while I'm like hyper focused on my business stuff, which is a challenge for all the obvious reasons, right? Like, you can't let your whole life just fall apart. I mean,
Exactly.
you can, but then like, you're not going to have, even if your business stuff is a success, there's not going to be anybody left around to enjoy it with you. So like,
Yeah.
good luck with
Yep.
that. So
Yeah.
the answer is scheduling in, as like robotic and in the box as it sounds. For
Hmm.
me, the answer is scheduling in everything that's important.
That's great. I love it. Yeah, and you kind of answered my other question, which I haven't even asked yet, is how do you balance your, crushing your business goals with the other aspects of life, such as relationships that are also important. And yeah,
Yeah. No, it's the same thing. I think,
exactly.
which is schedule it in. So
Hmm.
um this was certainly true in my marriage and with other relationships that I've like other romantic relationships that I've been in, is that if there's not a regularly scheduled date night and it's
Hmm.
just erratic, sometimes that can work if it happens often enough to like for everybody to feel connected and whatever, right? Like that's cool. But like when that stops getting prioritized as the relationship matures a little bit and all of the newness and the shininess of it wears off, what often happens, not to everyone, but what often happens is prioritizing connected time together goes like happens when it happens.
Right.
And and then often the like if the relationship just becomes like transactional, it's just like, same routine every day, it gets pretty lame. And so, I mean, it could take years for that to happen, right? But regularly scheduled date night or something similar is like, in my opinion, like one of the most important things in a
Hmm.
romantic relationship. Um, but and that could take many, many, many different forms, right? It could be going out to dinner, it could be going out to a movie, classic. It could be going to a dance class together, or it could be going and playing folk mu- folk music together at or like Irish night at the local pub, or it could be
Right.
going and doing yoga together, or it could be going for kayak on the river together once a week or whatever, whatever you guys are into, going to book club together, I don't care. But like having that time spent to like connect with each other. But then if you look at the other areas of your life, the same is true. And you know
Hmm.
what, dude? This is actually a really interesting point. So I have two kids.
Hmm.
My son is 18. He's graduating high school this year, and my daughter's 13. And one thing that we started instituting um, after Jody and their mom, split up is, and we've been doing it ever since. It's like 7 or 8 years now, 7 years, I think, is kid date night. And so what we
Oh,
do
cool.
is we have two kids, and there are 7 days in the week, and we both live in the same town. And so we basically go back and forth every other day with the kids, and that has worked for everybody since we split up. And so it's been great, and we both see the kids every week, and it's cool. Um, and so what we started doing is one day a week, we did and we still do kid date night, and where it gives one on one time with me and one kid, and one on one time with their mom and one kid, right? And then the next week we switch. And so what it gives is scheduled, prioritized time in to spend with me and my daughter, or me and my son, and vice versa, and so on. And like it's the best. And it's not, so it's another example of prioritizing the connection, in this case of my relationship with my kids. But it could be a friend, right? Like so on. So I'm in a men's group, and we meet every 2 weeks. Um one evening a week is the same night almost every time. And we do a potluck at one of our houses, and we do a rotating thing, and um it's on a schedule. Okay, it happens on a regular basis. um my running partner, I've been running with him for like 8 years, maybe longer at this point, Ivan. um though he also has two young kids, and is a single dad. But we used to run together like 3 times a week. Right now we run together once a week. It happens on Right now it's happening on Sundays. And we started running with our other friend, a very long time friend, Zach. And we've been meeting with him to run again, usually 11 or noon on Sundays. And after we run, if the river isn't completely frozen over, we plunge,
Wow.
and do a like hardcore Arctic ice bath plunge afterward.
Wow.
So, but again, like on it, like the only way it happens is because it's on the schedule,
Okay, cool. Yep.
and it happens consistently, right? So then there's other stuff that like I've got to do. um kid taxiing to and from school, right? Kid taxiing to and from the youth theater, right? Like it happens on a consistent basis. It goes on my calendar, whether I like it or not, and I have to move the rest of my stuff in my life around it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so these types of responsibilities also create decompression time where you're not cranking on that one main goal that you have. If you're an entrepreneur and you're building a business and you're trying to make more money, you're trying to grow it, maybe that's your main goal, whatever it is. But like in terms of, again, how do you avoid burnout? The way I avoid burnout is by not thinking about burnout. And I just schedule the stuff in that I want to get done. And sometimes my schedule is too packed and then something breaks and then I try to learn from it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, if you want to join our Get Shit Done community right now, we are doing work parties on Mondays at noon Eastern. You get a link when you become a member of the Get Shit Done community. When you join the Get Shit Done community, link is right there. You get the Get Shit Done session, which is one of my best-selling hypnosis sessions that hypnotizes you to get shit done. You also get my 6-video framework on the Get Shit Done system for free that we normally sell for $49, between $49 and $197. If you buy the Get Shit Done session, then we'll sell the Get Shit Done system as an upsell for $49. So you get that for free also when you join the community. And so far, the community has been incredibly active, incredibly supportive. People are like really getting clear on the kind of shit that they want to get done. They're getting clear on their big goals for the year. And we had a woman in Australia who was like, hey, it's 3 a.m. when you're doing your work parties, bro. That's not what she didn't say, bro, but she's like, what's up? When are you going to have them at a time that's going to work for us Australians? And the answer is that we are going to cherry pick from the leaderboards in our community. We're going to cherry pick work party leaders from the most active and motivated folks to lead work parties at times that you want them to happen. And what we'll find, I have an initial schedule in mind, but my schedule isn't necessarily the community's ideal schedule. And so we're going to look at different times that we can do work parties, and our community members are going to learn how to lead them. And so we're going to train you guys how to do that. So if you want work parties to happen at a different time than 12 noon Eastern on Monday, get in there, become a member of the community, show us what you got, and then we'll train you and we'll get you assigned to initiate that work party, and they can happen. Right. So we would love that. We're doing a lot of community involvement. We're going to be interviewing folks from the community on the Get Shit Done show. We're going to be both doing expert interviews with entrepreneurs who know how to get shit done. And we're going to be doing Get Shit Done hot seats with you, where you can share with us your challenges. And we're going to do a live coaching session with you to help you get shit done. So if that sounds awesome to you, join the community. Link's right there. My name's Tony Knudsen. That's Eric Oliver. You know what time it is?
It's time to get shit done.
It's time to get shit done. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. We'll see you again tomorrow. And again, if you're inspired, if you're part of the Get Shit Done community and you're inspired by what we're doing here, you want to be a co-host, let us know. We can talk about that. And we'll see you all sooner than you might expect. Hit us with the Get Done check-in below. Talk to you soon. Over and out. Bye.
Bye.
We're going to end the stream now.